What's going on, family? I always get the spirit to do these lives when I'm going to the store. Beautiful day. Seems like my neighborhood is a ghost town again. But it's all good. Give me a second. It was a good, nice Sunday rant earlier on Instagram. I felt like I had a lot to say. Good conversations. All that good stuff. Cool, Facebook's not acting a fool. Man, these weekends be going by so fast, it's not even funny, man. It's crazy how fast these weekends just go by, but, especially since we had that nice long weekend, but I'm about to have 2 short weekends, longer weekends come up. We've got New Orleans, But anyways, let me know how you guys' weekend has been going. I know everybody's watching football now. That's why it's so quiet outside. So shout out, shout out to the football fans. I hope whoever your team is, I hope your team wins. If your team loses, hopefully they can make it to the playoffs or at least make it to the Super Bowl. So shout out to the football fans, because this is the best time to be out right now, because everybody's at home watching football. Or everybody's at the bar watching football. So that's the upside. Like, I remember I used to go to the gym on a Sunday when the game was on. Man, the gym be dead as hell. Dead as hell. I be loving every single moment of it, man. Gym be nice and quiet. So usually gyms are quiet on Sundays anyways before people got to go back to work. But like I said, I just remember when I used to go on Sundays, it'd be how quiet the gym would be, man. It was perfect. If we're going to turn today, we're going to turn tomorrow. Ain't nobody there, brother. Lord have mercy. But yeah, those are the best of the best times ever, man. So, but anyways, so what do I got to talk about today? Talked about perspective, things of that nature. Talked about people, things of that nature. Shout out to the trendsetter brother that's on my Facebook. He lives in Southern Virginia, and he just keeps putting out great stuff in regards to, he's like, if you're not willing to, because he's owned like 3 successful businesses thus far: tire business, junk removal business. I believe he has even a construction business. Young brother. And he's like, and so I got to give him love and respect to him, because he's just about that work. He's only on social media to promote his business, so I really respect that. But he's out here getting it. And I noticed him more during the pandemic, because obviously all of us had more of a chance to be on social media during the pandemic. And I just had to give him, love and respect for that one, because he's out there getting it, and he's out there like, hey man, I'm about getting this work, getting this money, and I just wish him nothing but love and respect, on some realness. But and that's the kind of energy I like to be around. So, because like I said, for too long it's like somebody, like I said, just for too long I've been negative and toxic energy always finds a way to just come around me. Basic, boring energy always seems to come around me, and not that go-get-em energy, So that's why I would say shout out to the people that are about that work and about going to get it, because that's just, to me, that's just nothing but the best of the best at the end of the day, to be around that kind of energy. Just to be around people like that in general, because I just think that's amazing. But, hey, it's been a crazy weekend. Thought my dog was having a health issue, but I keep forgetting that my boy Max he's an older dog, and I can't believe I had him for 17 years. Like I said, I think it was between 2008 and 9 when I got my dachshund. My dog Isis passed away back in 2021. So, if I get one more good year with Max, that's good enough for me. I don't have kids. My dog is like my child. And some people got a joke about that, and I could care less, because I wasn't put here on this earth. But I love my dog more than most people. Heck, I like dogs more than people in general. So, shout out to the dog lovers. But yeah, he was a little frail earlier, but now he's much better. But, he's an older dog. He has his good days, he has his bad days. And, it's just one of those. But I bring that up is because since we're going into 2026 and going in 2026 with more of this positive energy, going into 2026 with less wasting time with people, going into 2026 with it takes me 5 seconds to be like, yeah, I don't need this person around me. And I'm getting better at that, because there was a time when I wanted to have everybody around me. Now is the time I really ain't vibing with most, because most just want to brag and boast. and toast without even doing anything. Celebrate without even having a real reason to celebrate. But that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, Sunday, everybody's for them, and people, football fans are going crazy. So I notice people a little bit more cheerful and happier and all that good stuff. So more power to them on that. And I just hope the great positive vibes continuously, stay out there. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. Just hope the positive vibes stay out there and everybody continuously to do what they're doing, and more power to them. You know what I'm saying? But we're in September. Please list in the comment section, what else would you like to get done before 2025 is over with? I know for me specifically, I'm getting a newer vehicle. I ain't bought a car in 20 years. That's definitely a bucket list. That is a thing to get done. Opening up a solo IRA account, definitely on the bucket list to get done before the year's over with. I actually have a consultation call this week to finally just say, okay, is this something that I can move? Is it going to be feasible to move forward with getting a solo IRA this year? Is it going to be more feasible to move forward with getting a business solo IRA next year? Because the purpose of it is basically to contribute to it, a certain amount of money to it, and if I need to borrow money from it, I can do it without getting taxed. If I just promise to, if I just pay it back at a certain amount of time or whatnot. So that's just a good thing to have as a backup plan, in my personal opinion, and whatnot. All right, everybody don't need to try to be Speedy Gonzalez out here. Ain't nothing special going on in Woodbridge. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's just my personal opinion. That's the personal opinion. That's the main reason for me to get a solo IRA. So I'll leave it at that. Perfecto. Thank you for getting over. And just be able to have another source of access to capital to borrow money from at the end of the day. But main reason why I wanted to go live was basically to talk about this. Okay, sorry about that. Got a little breath, man. We're stuck. Anyways, the United States of America, one of the greatest countries on the planet. Never going to say anything bad about it. And I'm not even going to start now. But everything, we're in a capitalist society. So every situation, somebody's going to capitalize it regardless of whatever the situation may be. Whether you are homeless or not, especially nowadays you can get locked up and fined for being homeless and sleeping in your car. So there's every place in America for the most part, unless you're really, really, really out in the middle of nowhere where there's like 4 deputy sheriffs where my grandfather used to live in upstate New York. You're going to get taxed and you're going to pay a fine on some aspect some way. Don't ride my tail person because the person in front of me is making a right turn. Crazy concept, I know. You hate it. Yeah, I just hit my brakes for the sake of hitting my brakes. Anyways, stupid drivers. But anyways, yeah, so cool. So at the end of the day, every situation is going to be capitalized on. That's why I was saying shout out to Trendsetters, because he's always been about that work. So nothing but love for him. Stay in your lane. You see I'm coming. But yeah, nothing but love and respect for him at the end of the day. So shout out to him. But anyways, my point is that every situation is going to get capitalized. You go to jail. You got a bunch of private prisons, people that, hey, I've even bought stock in. So shout out to the private prisons. So you're going to be able to capitalize on something. I know the news nowadays, immigration is a big thing. Whatever side you're on, that's not the point. I'm mentioning immigration. I'm not here to debate politics. I always say if there ain't no money involved, I ain't talking about it. But let's just keep it real. Every decision is made it's calculated in every aspect, in every situation, from all levels of government to all levels of corporations and businesses. All right, that's the American way, and that's great, and that's how you got to play. But remember, whether people come here legally, there's always an economic reason why it's been able to happen. It's never been on some, we're doing this out of the care and whatnot. No, we're doing this to capitalize on a situation. Case in point, companies never get fined for even having illegal immigrants because if that was the case, then you see a lot of people with money going to jail. Or even, make it illegal for somebody to hire somebody who's not supposed to be here. If that was the case, a lot more people with money would be going to jail. Another thing, a lot of places, if you even go to a lot of smaller towns, in middle America where the population has been dwindling. A lot of times people who immigrate from other countries, and they could be from all over the world. I mean, not just Latin America, but from the Middle East to Asia to Africa and whatnot. They have people come there and they can even get access to certain benefits and whatnot for one specific reason. And that reason is because they need people there. Case in point, a buddy of mine that I used to work with, he's from Minnesota. And he was talking about, growing up in Minnesota, he was talking about the days of, they have a very big Somali population. Shout out to the Somalis. But they have a very big Somali population. And because they have a very big Somali population, because during the time when Somalia had a civil war, when Somalia had a civil war, they actually had, hey, happy Sunday, friend. Greatly appreciate it. When Somalia had a civil war, a lot of them, quote unquote, refugees, they came to America, but majority of them ended up going to Minnesota because Minnesota was like, hey, made a deal with the State Department, said, hey, we'll house them, we'll give them education, give them access to capital for businesses, things of that nature, good jobs, all that great stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Because the state of Minnesota was lacking in population because honestly, who wants to live in Minnesota? It's cold as hell. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of places in Kansas, Nebraska, things of that nature. People, people that come from other countries, a lot of times they get people to go out there because there's no population. No population means no tax base. No tax base means no access to capital for the city and state government. Low population means you don't really have that many rights when it comes to voting in Congress, things of that nature. And this is just the simple aspects of things. Then low population means corporations don't want to invest into your state. So, moral of the story is, at the end of the day, everything is an economic calculated move in the United States of America because it's a capitalist country. And I always say either you're going to capitalize on something or you're going to just roll over and cry about it. The choice is yours. All right. That's why I always say make money moves or you get liberal like a fool, because that's just the way the name of the game goes. Either you're going to sit on the sideline and be a cheerleader, or you're going to be a player since, it's football season. You're going to be a player and you're going to get in the game and you're not going to act like a lame. But anyways, let me get in the store, handle my business. Hopefully y'all have a great day. Do the great 3 free things like, share, and subscribe. Make money moves, so you're going to live like a fool. Take it easy.